Although on the API end we are good to go, the problem is over here, which is an incomplete implementation inside the DTO. So we have simple patient summary. We are yet to complete this one. So let's just do this real quickly. Um, so let's start. First, let's fetch a patient object. Patient summary to get patient QUID. Then we have patient name. Okay, so there's one thing I'd like to point out here. I looked into other data forms and it appears that we are using patient name object and not a string to be able to have complete control over how to represent this string on the front end, which is why I'm also going to replace patient name and address with proper person name and person address. I'm going to go over here and simply do this, remove the address, and instead of patient name, I'm going to say person name, and this also needs to be handled. That's actually easier one. We'll create data setters, and we have it fixed. All right. So this simplifies our problem. This dot person name is equals to patient summary dot get person name. Person address is going to be patient summary dot get person address. Okay, it's the same one. Patient dot get address. And then we have gender, then we have date of birth, birth date, and then we have identifiers, patient summary dot get identifier. And then from patient program, I have to now run a loop. I have to iterate every object in patient program summaries, and let's see how this goes. So I have patient program summary object, and let's call it program summary in patient summary dot get program summaries, patient program summaries. And now I need to put in um, certain values to prepare this object, simple patient program summary object. So let me go over here, and this is what I want. I need to be able to set these values. So let's get back and as reference we're going to have this. All right. So we are going to say patient programs this dot as list and new summary. The first one is going to be patient UUID. The other one is program name, which is basically going to be I'm going to get program. Actually, let's pick patient program from over here, and I'm going to set get program dot get name. So this is a program name. These two are done. Then I need a patient program UUID. So let's initialize this one over here. Okay, so we have patient ID, this other one, and the third one is patient program UUID. So patient program UUID. The fourth one is date, start date and end date, and this is going to be patient program get date enrolled, and then we have date completed. So these are my start and end ones. Then I have treatment outcome. This is going to be okay. I need a UUID here. So if if we do have an outcome, let's just say get treatment outcome. This is going to be an observation. Let's call it an outcome, and we need to check whether this outcome has a value or not. So outcome is not null. If it isn't null, then pick outcome dot get value as string, and then the locale is going to be context dot get locale. This is going to be user's locale. Otherwise, just keep it null. Okay, so this is about the outcome, and lastly we have observations and lab tests. So I'm going to say observations and lab tests. So lab tests are easy. Uh, this is going to program summary dot get lab tests. About observations, this one's slightly trickier. You can see the program summary contains this list of observations. But this object is heavy. This is it's not suitable to pass on all this entire list of observations as complete objects. So we need something lightweight. And for lightweight objects, what I'm going to do is, instead of having a list of obs, I'm going to create something else, some other data structure. So let me just do this. I'm going to create a list of not obs but a map of string keys and string values and call it observations. Right? Observations. Now for every program summary, I'm further going to have another loop, yet another loop. And this is where the observations are going to get prepared. So I'm going to say map observation. Let's call it obs map. And what's wrong with you? I don't know. So move the outcome over here. And now I'm going to run a nested loop, which is going to be for all the observations in program summary dot get observations. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some stuff, some key attributes from observation into obs map. So what I'm saying is, actually this goes inside and observations dot add, but what is going to go into this obs map? And I'm going to now start putting keys and values here. So the first one I'm going to take is um, um yeah, the first one is going to be is going to be concept. So we don't mean want concept name or anything. We want concept UUID because we are going to fetch. We're going to have a whole concept object in the front end stored in our local storage. So we are just going to pass on the UUID. We're going to keep this object light. Okay. So this is concept, and then also um, we're going to have um, yes, encounter UUID. Given that encounter is not null, or have it null, and this is going to be encounter obs map dot put, and this is going to be, let's see what else we have. Um, so we come to the values. Yeah. Obs date time, and again it should be guarded by null check. Obs date time is small t, and obs map dot put So we now have value, all these values, right? So value boolean, value text, value coded, value date, all of these have to be covered. I'm going to put in all of them. So now that I have all the observation properties I need, the next step is to change the data type of the expected observation. So simple patient summary, program summary is currently expecting a list of ops, not a list of map. So yeah, let's change this, and also change the parameter from ops to map of observation properties. Okay, so now we should be, yeah, this is done. So the last one we have is lab test. So yeah, lab test was already put into the constructor. I think we are good over here. Let's say, let's see how our module is looking like. First, let me check the resource once more. Patient summary. Over here, I need to specify all the properties which are going to be passed. Um, so you're going to find plenty of examples of this get representation description. What this method does is actually it has something to do with the the information you want the endpoint to return. So there's a default implementation, then there's a full implementation, there's a reference implementation. We have discussed this when we were talking about OpenMRS's REST module. Right now, I'm going to put in a few things. So whatever representation I'm asking, be it full, be it default, or reference only. We just open the Postman and recall what we did over here. So, for example, you're fetching concepts, right? And there is this V which tells the representation V parameter, and right now it's custom. But if I say full, it's going to bring all the properties, everything um, about the concept, as well as its dependencies, its inner objects, which is going to be a very large object, and we don't want that actually. Let me cancel this. I'm not sure if the server is actively running. This is the test server. I'm going to launch. Let's fire up our own instance and visit the local host for this. So duplicate and sorry, WS Rest V1 concept. So fetch 50 concepts, and it's still starting. TET WS Rest V1 localhost Panamaris Rest V1 should. Oh, okay. Authentication. All right. So right now I have defined custom over here. If I say full, then all the properties of every concept are going to be retrieved, right? And if I just say ref, then we are only talking about the references, and this one I think is not available for concepts, or rather we can switch it off and have it default. So what we are doing right now is we we are specifying the kind of representation uh, which is available when this endpoint is called. So I am going to put in the properties which I'm returning. So this program summary, this is the main thing, and these are the ones that we are returning, right? Okay. So we have date of birth. It's going to be date object. That's fine. Patient identifiers, okay, and then patient program. This should also be, since this is an OpenMRS object and this is our own. Actually, this one we want to be full, representation full, always. So whenever we are fetching a summary, we want a complete representation of the patient programs object. Now let's try to build it again and deploy. Maybe clean install. We skip tests, and hopefully this time we are going to get the desired results, unless of course there are bugs which we can troubleshoot easily now. So I'm gonna go to my OpenMRS instance of the initial setup, and stop and delete the previous module. The current one is being built. Unfortunately, redeploying a module is, of course, a big hassle. So it is better to rely on unit tests as much as you can before trying to deploy the module, the, redeploy the module, because just because of the sheer time it takes. Okay, let's wait for the module to build. stuck. It's still doing the job. Okay, should now be building it. Done. So let's upload it. And once again, I'm going to launch my OpenMRS Tomcat. This is, let me show you again. So this is remote JVM debugging. I have configured a remote debugger, so on my server, when the code, the JVM reaches this point, my breakpoint would catch it. So let me debug over here, and then I'm going to call the desired endpoint. Just close this one, close this one, save, and I've made a request. So you can see I now have patient summary, patient object, person name, identifiers, and there are a couple of patient summary objects. Okay. Now, if anything goes wrong, I should be able to catch it over here. So encounter, and then all of them. Let's just go on, proceed to the get treatment outcome. So outcome could actually be um, empty. Yeah, there is a outcome concept equals ops dot concept. Okay, wait, this method is not null safe. Let's deal with this again. Get treatment outcome, and outcome concept is null. So patient program dot get dot program does not have an associated outcomes concept, which is a bit strange. There should be an outcomes concept. Let me go ahead and troubleshoot this. All right, so it turns out that our legacy system was actually not using the patient programs configured concept, outcomes concept, and the reason was, let me show you exactly from the data why. And so this is the program table from previous version 1.6, right? It has no column to specify the outcome, but in our current version we do have it, outcome concept ID. So although there is a this column specified in the previous data, you will have to look elsewhere to find this concept. And what do I mean by elsewhere? I'll have to put in another set of concepts, um, TB outcome. This is going to be context dot get service, mdrtb service dot class dot get concept, and the concept's name is going to come from mdrtb concepts dot tb out tb treatment outcome. Okay. So this is for DSCB, the DOS program, and then there's mdrtb outcome as well. MDR-TB treatment outcome. So we are actually looking for the observation which either matches this concept for new version, or for old data matches either of these two. So I'm going to say if it yeah, if it matches outcome concept, good. Otherwise, TB outcome or MDR-TB outcome. Yeah, and this is how it should figure out the outcome concept. So let me go through the process again and redeploy the module once again. Alright, so I've managed to crack the issue, and again it had something to do with the legacy code. So what was happening is that this outcomes concept, which we were picking from directly from program, this did not exist before. So we used to do is to specify the exact concept and retrieve it by name, and then look for that observation. So what this code right now is doing is it's um, making our patient summary our method compatible with the current version, as well as taking care of the legacy system, which had separate TB outcome and MDR-TB outcome concepts predefined and hard coded. So this I just tested it, and yeah, I managed to deploy the module, and now the exception which was being thrown because of this should have resolved. Let's see if that's really the case. So I have run into the debug mode. I'm gonna go back again to my rest call. Here's my breakpoint, and scroll all the way over here. It's a bookmark, and this which was throwing an exception earlier no longer is. So it is null because I checked into the data. The patient under consideration actually does not have outcomes defined. It's a test case, so that was likely. Now let's go ahead. There could be many other issues and enhancements to be made um, in the service method, depending on what exactly is required from patient summary data. But for now, we are going to go ahead. We have retrieved all we needed to demonstrate the patient summary population. So now I am going back to my controller over here. It is fetching the patient summary, and let's see. Unauthorized. Yeah, of course, we restart the server. Now we have breakpoint further, and we should be able to. Okay, we have another problem: unknown property patient programs. Why is that? So this patient programs property definitely does exist. Let me check what's happening. We have patient programs, and it's been accessed. via. Okay, patient programs should populate. Do we have anything that's indicating if okay, so this patient programs property that's missing. Uh, okay, let's let's see what's going on. We have a patient programs property which is to be attached, and in simple patient summary data, we have patient programs, and that's been we are actually setting this. If not, it's supposed to be a new array list. So what's wrong? Okay. So our getters and setters need to be renamed. It's simple patient program summaries, and we have to rename it to patient programs. And same goes with the setter. Yeah, because the property name resolves the getters and setters are resolved automatically by the framework itself, and it's sort of you can say it's used so this is OpenMRS's feature. It's using reflections, and it's looking for the same name, which is why we are having this situation. We will have to go yet another round of the redeployment. By now I think you you know the drill. So now I have rebuilt the module, redeployed it, and I'm going to rerun. Actually, this is not even required anymore. I tested the endpoint. Let me run it again, and that's the object I have received against my HTTP request for patient summary for this test patient. So you can see the person name, the address, and then patient identifiers, and then patient programs. So we have program information, and we have a set of observations against each program. Let's go ahead and preview this properly. You can see these are identifiers, and then we have patient programs. Okay, now that we have patient summary containing person name, person address, identifiers, and patient programs, I'm going to conclude this session here, and you will notice there are two specific pieces of information I have not included deliberately, that is, and that will be your DIY as an assignment. What you need to do is you have to go to the API. Once you have um, once you once you reach this point, right, afterwards you're going to go into the respective MDR-TB implementation, service implementation, and inside this one, get patient summary. Right? So we are fetching lab tests. That's going to give you lab tests. That this is fine. But what we are not fetching currently is two things. Let me show you what we originally planned and what we have. So we are not, we don't have these concepts to populate. These are going to be the latest observations against these concepts. So the latest one populates here. That's something to be done. And then the other one is the treatment and regimen. That's the second piece of information which is to be shown. You will have to attach, what's going to be required is you will have to attach the, another set of observations, or keep them inside no, not this one. Have another set of observations, a list of observations for drugs, or you can also fetch the exact encounter which is going to provide you the information of the treatment regimen and all under the same program. And then consequently, those will also go into the simple DTOs. Now that's one. Over here, you're going to add another treatment property and populate against your HTTP request. That's one. The other one, that was actually a bug. Um, is this all observations? So all observations are currently being sort of uh, attached for one program within the same window, but there's a catch. The catch is, in the legacy system, the way you identify observations is not like this. So what we are doing right now is we are relying on the program window, the date window. But the previous data, let me actually go ahead and show you what I mean by that. Test Ali, this is a test patient. And if I go into, say, this TV03 form, uh, this one, let's pick some other case. What's wrong? Okay, so let's pick some other case. These are lab results, and see if we have any. No, these are only lab results. Actually, let me go ahead and search for a particular observation, which can be found over here in the concepts, and it's called patient program ID. Okay, so we are going to search for this exact concept first. Yeah, the concept ID is 576, and 576. Yeah, and you will see this value numeric, right? This is the reference to the program, the patient program ID, and the way you track all the observations in the set is you reach this program ID, and then you fetch the encounter that contains this program ID and get all the observations for that encounter. So for example, this is encounter ID 009039. Now if I fetch all observations, Then I'm going to have the complete set of respective observations against this program, this particular program. Now these two were avoided. You can skip that, and the rest uh, you're going to find. That's the right way to fetch the set of observations for old data. And so these are two simple tasks I'm leaving for you to try out. And then finally, when you're satisfied, when you're done populating the patient summary, then you can use this template and this raw data and any AI tool, pass on to any AI tool with the Django code and ask it to build a patient summary report for the same Django app. And that's something I will encourage you to do using AI and AI alone, not without writing any single line of code. Um, because this is something which can be very effectively done using Claude or ChatGPT or Codex or any other agent. Anyway, this is where I am going to conclude generating patient summaries. And at the end, I hope these workshops, these sessions prove to be valuable for you and that you enjoyed all the content. If you have any questions, any queries, you know how to reach me on Slack or via my email. Goodbye for now. Until next time.